Have you ever wondered why some people leave a lasting impression with just a few words, while others fade from memory moments after the conversation ends? It's not about being the loudest in the room or having the perfect thing to say. It's about saying something that resonates on a deeper level. According to renowned psychologist Carl Jung, our most powerful connections are emotional and symbolic, not logical. What we feel during an interaction is what we remember, not necessarily the facts, but the energy, the spark, the unspoken chemistry. This insight changes everything. It means that attraction, influence, and connection aren't about perfection or overthinking every word. They're about tapping into something deeper, the unconscious mind, where symbols, emotions, and subtle cues create lasting impact. And sometimes, all it takes are 3 simple words to do just that. You and me. When used with intention, these words can awaken curiosity, project confidence, and open the door to something more meaningful, whether it's romantic interest, professional rapport, or genuine friendship. The magic isn't in the phrase itself, but in how it makes someone feel. It creates a shared moment, a mental image, a sense of possibility between 2 people. In a world full of distractions and fleeting interactions, standing out doesn't require grand gestures or rehearsed lines. It requires authenticity, timing, and emotional intelligence. So if you're ready to stop blending into the background and start making people think about you long after the conversation ends, it's time to master the power of those 3 unforgettable words: you and me. The psychology behind connection. Renowned psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This insight is at the heart of human connection, especially when it comes to attraction and meaningful communication. Jung believed that our deepest connections are formed not through logic, but through emotion and symbolism. Our unconscious minds respond far more strongly to images, feelings, and subtle cues than they do to facts or perfectly crafted sentences. That's why the most memorable moments in life aren't always the grand ones. They're the small, emotionally charged ones that stay with us. So if you want to leave a lasting impression on someone, whether romantically, professionally, or socially, it's not about impressing them with cleverness or perfection. It's about touching something deeper within them. And one of the simplest ways to do that is by using the phrase "you and me," thoughtfully, confidently, and at the right moment. Why you and me works so well. At first glance, you and me might seem like just another conversational phrase, but psychologically, it carries immense weight. Here's why. 1. It creates a shared moment. When you say you and me, you're not just talking about yourself or the other person. You're creating a mental image where both of you exist together. You're inviting them into a shared experience, which automatically builds a sense of intimacy and connection. 2. It sparks curiosity. Unlike direct questions or statements, you and me leaves room for imagination. It doesn't demand an immediate response. Instead, it invites the listener to wonder what could be possible between the 2 of you. 3. It projects confidence and initiative. Saying you and me signals that you're comfortable enough in your own skin to suggest something without needing permission. It shows clarity, self-assurance, and leadership, qualities that are deeply attractive in any context. 4. It feels natural, not forced. Because it's so simple, it avoids sounding scripted or over the top. People respond better to authenticity than to effortful charm. You and me feel spontaneous and genuine, and that makes all the difference. How to use you and me effectively. Using you and me effectively isn't about repeating it constantly or forcing it into every conversation. It's about timing, tone, and context. Here's how to use it like a pro. 1. Choose the right moment. Timing is everything. Don't throw out you and me too early in a conversation or relationship, especially if there's no existing chemistry or connection. Wait until the conversation flows naturally and there's already some mutual interest. For example, if you're both laughing and sharing stories, try something like, "You and me would make a dangerously good team." If you're discussing music or travel, say, "You and me should catch a concert sometime." These kinds of comments feel organic and playful, not pushy. 2. Pay attention to tone. The way you say, "you and me," matters as much as the words themselves. If you sound nervous, hesitant, or overly serious, it can come off as desperate or forced. Instead, speak with calm confidence and a touch of playfulness. Try to keep your voice relaxed and unhurried, almost like you're stating a fact rather than making a request. This communicates that you're comfortable with yourself and not seeking validation. 3. Match the context. Use "you and me" in situations where it feels natural and appropriate. Don't force it into a conversation that's tense, formal, or distracted. Let the moment guide you. Also, avoid overusing the phrase. If you say it too often, it loses its impact and starts to feel insincere. Think of it as a spark, not a script. 4. Combine it with body language. Words alone don't carry the full weight of communication. Your body language does too. Make eye contact, smile subtly, and stand tall. These non-verbal cues reinforce the message behind your words and show that you're confident and grounded. For example, if you say, "You and me should go out this Saturday," while looking down and crossing your arms, it sends mixed signals. But if you say it with a calm smile and steady eye contact, it becomes an invitation, not a demand. Real-life examples of "you and me" in action. Let's take a look at some real-life scenarios where this phrase can make a powerful impact. Romantic setting. Before, "Do you want to go out with me?" puts pressure on him to respond. After, "You and me should go out this Saturday," suggests possibility without expectation. Friendly conversation. Before, "We should hang out sometime." Vague and forgettable. After, "You and me need to catch up this week." Creates urgency and warmth. Professional environment. Before, "We need to figure this out." Sounds stressful or demanding. After, "You and me can handle this fast." Builds trust and collaboration. Each of these examples shows how shifting your language from generic phrases to "you and me" can instantly elevate the energy of the interaction. The science of emotional resonance. Why does this work so well? Because of what Jung called emotional resonance, the idea that certain words and expressions activate deep psychological responses in others. When you say "you and me," you're tapping into universal desires, connection, belonging, and shared experience. Think about it. Everyone wants to feel seen, chosen, and included. By simply suggesting a shared moment with someone, you're giving them that feeling, even if just for a second. And those seconds are what make people remember you. Avoiding common mistakes. As powerful as "you and me" can be, there are pitfalls to avoid. Using it too soon. Jumping into it before there's any rapport can feel overwhelming or even creepy. Overusing it. Saying it repeatedly makes it lose its magic and can come across as desperate. Focusing too much on their reaction. Don't watch their face anxiously after saying it. Stay relaxed and continue the conversation naturally. Lack of body language alignment. If your words say confidence but your posture says insecurity, the message gets muddled. Remember, the goal isn't to manipulate or seduce, it's to connect. Authenticity is key, beyond romance, building deeper human connections. While much of the focus around "you and me" tends to be romantic, its applications go far beyond love and dating. It can be used to strengthen all types of relationships, including friendships, professional partnerships, and even family bonds. Here's how. In friendships. Instead of starting a conversation with, "How have you been?" Component placement try. "You and me haven't talked in forever. We need to catch up." Suddenly, The conversation becomes an emotional reunion rather than a polite check-in. At work. When working with colleagues, try replacing "we need to fix this problem" with "you and me can figure this out fast." This builds camaraderie and shows belief in the team dynamic. With family. Even with relatives, you can use this phrase to reignite closeness. Instead of saying, "let's talk soon," say, "you and me need to sit down and talk soon." It creates intention and emotional weight. By using "you and me" in everyday interactions, you shift from transactional communication to relational connection. Speak with intention. At the end of the day, what makes someone unforgettable isn't what they say. It's how they make others feel. Words have power, yes, but only when spoken with presence, awareness, and emotional intelligence. "You and me" isn't a trick or a manipulation tactic. It's a bridge between two people, built not with grand gestures, but with quiet confidence and subtle invitation. So next time you're in a conversation, whether it's with someone you're interested in romantically, a friend you've missed, or a colleague you respect, try saying "you and me" with intention. Watch how the atmosphere shifts. Watch how your confidence grows. And most importantly, watch how others begin to lean in. Not because you asked them to, but because you invited them to. Because real connection isn't about chasing attention. It's about creating moments that matter. And sometimes, those moments start with just 3 simple words.